Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to recap of night number 7 of Big Brother season 25. Still broadcasting a long way away from the Big Brother house, but a little bit closer than I was last week down in Mexico. It's nice to be home. It's nice to have these live feeds. I got to say, another night where I thought things maybe would start slowing down a little bit. No. Just when I think that's going to happen, something else occurs, everything ramps up. We certainly had that last night. It has been a crazy week to start the season off. First of all, before we talk about that, let's talk about what we do know for a fact inside the house, and that is this. Kirsten and Felicia are on the block. One of them should be going home on Thursday, and it's almost certainly going to be Kirsten. I would expect probably a 14-0 vote. 14? Yeah, 17 house guests. Yeah, okay, 14-0 vote. It's got to be rough. Not only do you get evicted, but getting evicted with more votes that have been cast against you than any other eviction in BB history. Maybe I have to check on that. But Kirsten certainly should be going home as long as we have an eviction Thursday night. As long as there isn't some house guest that self-evicts or involuntarily gets evicted or gets a penalty nomination. Any of those theoretically could happen based on the way some of these house guests are acting. And again, we're going to talk about that. God, what a crazy week. What a crazy night. All right. Yesterday, we'll start off talking about Cameron. There's still repercussions going around with Cameron's flipping over to the Professors. Remember, the Professors is the new name of Cirie and Izzy and Felicia's alliance. The Professors kind of taking the place of the Bye-Bye Bees. Once they've added Red to the mix on that. So Cameron flipped over to that side, spilled the beans on Riley's family style alliance and all the other levels of alliances that were within her group as well. Then turned right back over and went to Riley and basically said what he'd done and encouraged her to go and plead guilt and beg for mercy from Cirie and get accepted over to the group as well. So Cameron trying to protect Riley by exposing everything that she's done so far. Yeah, I think that's how the puppet master is working right now. So we've got that. Now, excuse me, Cirie's worried about all kinds of things. I think Cirie is probably in the first week of Big Brother seeing more than maybe she saw in 39 days worth of Survivor. Just wait till you get to day 99 or so, Cirie. Yeah, it's a long season. But Cirie is now worried about the recent new member to her alliance. Remember, it was the Bye-Bye Bees with 8 people. They added Red to become the Professors. Well, now she's worried about Red. That didn't last long at all. She thinks that he is a snake. She used that word based on her not believing that Red was entirely transparent, because when Cameron started talking to Cirie's side, he had mentioned that he had talked to Cameron, he talked to Luke and Red and Jared, I believe were the 3 names he mentioned. Well, Cirie's realizing that Cameron's saying all this, but Red never passed that information on to her or Izzy or Felicia. So as a result, she doesn't think he's transparent. She thinks he's a bit of a snake. She's not really sure that he's as committed as she thought he was to their side of the alliance. Now, having said all that, then later they start asking Red more questions. Yesterday afternoon, start asking more questions of Red. He was very forthcoming. And at that point, then they start saying, well, maybe Red is on the up and up. And it was just, him trying to feel his way over here. But then later, they seem to be on a little bit of an anti-Red campaign to maybe get him nominated if possible. So it seems like they're going back and forth. I think at the end of this, they're probably somewhat comfortable with Red, but if the other side wins HOH, someone from Cirie's group needs to be the sacrificial lamb as far as nominations. They're probably thinking Red's the last one in, the first one to go as well. So we'll find out. But Cirie is certainly a little bit worried about some of the newer members they've got to their alliance. All right, we've got that. The other thing she's a little upset about is she thinks that Red probably told Cameron everything about Cirie's side, just like he told her side everything about Riley's side. He just threw this whole house in uproar. All right, later we've got Felicia talking to Som. She asked Som says, who would you want to go to the end with? And he said, I want to go with y'all. And I did he use the word y'all? Maybe that's me just paraphrasing a little bit. He may have. We'll see if he's got a cowboy hat hidden in that house somewhere. But Hassam said, yeah, I want to go with y'all. He thinks it would be cool for the three oldest players to make it to the end and add Izzy in as well. You got to always add Izzy. I was laughing. There were several times Sari was trying to have a conversation. She was out in the backyard. At one point, in fact, she was talking to Hassam, and that may be when this took place. And Izzy just kind of came out there. I think she had a cup of coffee. She just kind of stood there with her arms crossed, almost like she's monitoring Sari or protecting Sari. I'm not sure what the proper role is, but Izzy does tend to just kind of follow along with Sari and keep track of everything that's going on. But Hassam did say that he'd love to see the oldest three players all make it to the very end. I'm in for that. Sounds pretty good to me. I like knowing there's a few older people in the house and not just one. But he does mention that, and that kind of warmed my heart a little bit. All right, we got Jared talking to Riley. Seems like this is a decently long conversation. He's talking to Riley. He said he's close to Felicia and Sari, and they do not want Riley gone. Remember, Riley thinks that she's got this special connection with the two ladies, and so Jared is kind of confirming that for her. It's going to make it seems like it's going to make it easier for her to maybe approach them, try to work with something. I don't think it's going to work, but he's kind of making it seem like that could be the case. Saying, yeah, they're not coming after you, Riley. That's not who they want to go after. They like you. I'm close to them, and they would have said something about that. At which point she said that she loves and trusts Felicia and Sari. Just trust them like moms. And Jared agreed, said, yeah, me too. Yeah, we all got the inside joke. Riley not knowing that Sari is his mom did not, but we certainly got it. So we talked about that. Jared is talking about Felicia and Sari as well, saying that no, they don't want you out, Riley. Really, they want the floaters gone. They want Bowie, they want Red, they want Luke out first. That's who they're going for. You're safe. You don't have anything to worry about, Riley. All right. He also mentioned that Hassam doesn't trust him, that there's not good communication there. Again, throwing out another target that would be anyone but Riley or Jag, I suppose, just to make her feel a little bit better. She needed all the assurances that she could get. It was a tough day, tough night for Riley. She got better at the end. Seems like she got a little bit better once Cameron wasn't there with her, but another topic. She did get better, but she had a lot of crying sessions. It's not easy being HOH. I know what that's like. But he does say that Hassam doesn't really trust him that much. They both more or less were in agreement that they think Hassam and Izzy are kind of working together as a team. So you kind of have Felicia and Sari is a duo, and then you maybe have Hassam and Izzy is another duo as well. It's kind of the way Riley is maybe looking at the picture, and they're thinking that Hassam really is their biggest worry. Which again, from Jared's standpoint, he doesn't want to have Izzy or Sari targeted. So yeah, why not put the target on Hassam instead? Riley is telling Jared that maybe they messed up forming such a big alliance so early. You think forming that big alliance ever seems like a little bit of a mistake to me. But she's saying, maybe we did screw up trying to do it so quick. And I do understand what she's saying. And it gets back to what I think it may have been Hassam who said or Cameron, I think, who said they were so focused just on getting the numbers. That was their only thing they were looking at. Didn't matter who it was. They just wanted to have numbers. And so now Riley's saying, yeah, maybe that was a problem. We did it too quick, too big, too early. But she's saying at the same time, if we don't stick together at this point, what's done is done. If we don't stick together at this point, we're going to implode and it's going to get even worse. I absolutely agree with her. Cameron said, you got to flip, you got to join up and all of that. I think the bridges are already burned over there. If Riley was to try to do that, all she's going to do is burn the bridges on the other side. And then she's got nowhere to go. I think her only strategic route at this point is to stick with the ones that she feels loyal to She may not have the numbers. She doesn't have the numbers, but hope that one of her group wins HOH and can pull some people back. There was a lot of talk. There were people throughout the day saying, people like Red saying, and I think this is Sari talking to a few people, and them saying, like Red's going to probably end up going with whichever side wins the this next HOH. And he's just kind of playing both sides at this point in time. And that's what Riley has to hope for, is that they win an HOH. They can pull a couple of these people back, and then maybe they go after someone like Izzy, a big target on the other side. A lot of things can change in a week. You don't just throw in your hand just because it didn't quite work out for you so far, which is what Cameron did. I don't think it's going to work for Cameron either. All right. We've got that. We've got let's see. Riley saying that, all right, I just mentioned that. Jared is mentioning something which I thought was kind of interesting. He says, look, I want to sit down with our alliance, Riley's alliance. I want to sit down before Thursday and have each person, let's find out from everyone who we want to put up, who we're going to nominate. He wants to basically go around the circle, say, who would you put up? Who would you put up? Who would you put up? And then just go right over and tell Sari and Felicia. If they do it, it's fantastic information. It will certainly help the other side figure out maybe who they want to target based on what names are thrown out by who. Riley didn't say, oh, sure, we're going to do that. But if Jared continues to push, that may be a possibility. Now, I'm not sure that everyone on Riley's side still believes that Jared's 100% loyal to them. I think, if I recall, Riley had said she questioned a little bit and everything. But at this point in time, I think she wants to believe and is still hoping that's the case. We'll see if anything comes of that. All right, we've got Jag and Blue talking. Blue is suggesting that maybe they should propose an alliance with Hassam that excludes Riley. So basically Jag and Blue and Hassam, maybe one or two others, but not Riley. So remember Riley saying this whole thing's going to implode. As I mentioned yesterday, I do feel like it's a sinking ship and everyone's looking for a seat in the lifeboat as such. So you've got a lot of folks looking in different directions right now. All right, later we've got Jag and Riley talking. Remember, these are final two ride or dies made on night number one. Just a couple of nights ago, Riley said, we're going to go down in history for our alliance that we put together. Yeah, well, people will certainly be talking about that alliance going forward in history, I think. So Jag and Riley are talking. Riley is really worried that they are no longer 8 strong. Yeah, I don't think you are. And that she will be the target next week if the other side wins. I think that's a strong possibility. She's also wondering and suspecting that Blue might throw the next HOH because she doesn't want to nominate Hassam or Izzy, and that she may be pressured to do so from her alliance if she was to win HOH. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think the reason that she's worried about Blue doing that is staying connected with the gay community. Hassam and Izzy are both gay. I didn't know Blue was, but perhaps so. I'm not sure exactly what her orientation is, but I get the impression that they think that there may be a connection because of that would keep Blue from wanting to nominate those two. So she's a little bit worried that Blue's not going to be competing for the HOH. She can't compete or won't be competing hard for the HOH. Riley can't compete for the HOH as the outgoing HOH. So not a lot of people in her corner that are going to be competing on Thursday. All right. We've got that. We've got Hassam or the final thing. And this is where there's some uncertainty because Jag and Riley are talking about Jared. They think that Jared is solid. Remember I said earlier, there's a little bit of concern, a little bit of talk of, hey, is he with us or not? We had a little bit of that conversation again between these two about just where Jared is in this game. But the conclusion at the end was, yeah, he's solid. He's still with us. We can count on him. They're counting on him to win an HOH. They certainly want that to happen. Yet another person who, if he knows what's best, will do anything possible not to win the HOH. But they're at this point in time still thinking that Jared is part of the family style and is good with them and vice versa. All right. We've got Sari and Riley talking. this wasn't, what time was it? 4 o'clock or so yesterday afternoon. It wasn't, didn't last for hours and hours, but it was a very emotional, very emotional meeting. A lot of crying from Riley, sobbing, heavy tears, just really her talking about how hard her HOH was, how difficult it was, that she can't go anywhere, that everyone just constantly is banging on her door, and the pressure, the stress is so great, really feeling down and out about everything. I get it. The big brother is a emotional, stressful situation, especially when you think you've got everything worked out, that you're just the queen of the world, and then it all appears to be tumbling down. It's a huge roller coaster of emotions. That's what Riley is dealing with now. Imagine if you had someone with a diamond power veto that was screwing up your HOH. I know what it's like to not have things go quite your way, but she's feeling horrible about it. Sari does a pretty good job of calming her down, soothing her, and really just saying, look, it's all right. Yeah, I think she told her at one point, said, shut the door. Just shut the door for an hour. Don't let anyone in. Gather your thoughts and just take care of you. And I think that's good advice. Sometimes you just have to forget about the game for a second, go have a good cry, and come out doing better. And it seems like she did, because again, later in the evening, she came out, she was laughing a little bit. She sat on the hammock right before they shut down for the night. So Riley was doing better, but she did have her moment. And so credit to Suri. I mean, they're kind of on opposite ends and such, but she took on a bit of a mom role and tried to help Riley out a little bit. She said at one point, she said, if one of my kids was in here, that I would hope someone would maybe help them out when they were feeling a little bit down as well. And I get it's a game, it's a cutthroat game, but when you should feel empathetic and help people as well. All right, we've got Matt and America. We're talking a little bit, and Matt talks about how mad he is at Luke. And because the reason he's mad at Luke is because he couldn't understand some conversations. He asked Luke about what was being said, and Luke just brushed him off, said, yeah, don't worry about it, which I hadn't really thought of. I'm glad that Matt's in here and kind of explain some of the things that happen in his world and such, because I understand how kind of a blow off, a brush off it is for Luke to have said that. And so Matt's mad about that and doesn't think that Luke's really treating him with respect and seriously. So he's got that. Matt is worried that Izzy is coming after him. They are on different sides. Matt's part of the Riley's alliance. Izzy's on the other side. So he's worried that that Izzy's coming after him. America's suggesting that he talk to her. America says, look, you ought to talk to Izzy and explain that maybe you haven't talked to her as much so far because it's tough for you to have conversations and such, and make sure that y'all are on okay terms. So he's going to try to do that. Matt does talk about the fact that he really wants to win HOH. We all want to win HOH, but he's got some extra reasons that make sense after he explained it. He says, look, I want to win HOH so I can have one-on-ones, because he's already said that group conversations are difficult for him. One-on-ones are much better. He says, if I win HOH, I can have a one-on-ones with everyone. And he said, I can have it in the HOH room where I can control the sound, the audio a little bit more, and it makes it so much easier. That all makes sense. But again, it's something I'd never really thought of. So one more reason that Matt wants to win HOH. You know who else wants Matt to win HOH? Riley and Jag and Blue as well. So yeah, he's going to be gunning for this one, even if some other people may not be. All right, we've got lots of non-game talk throughout the evening. A lot of the house guests sat on the living room couch. They hadn't been out there that long. It didn't seem like they haven't spent that much time in that room, but they spent a lot of last night on the couch. They played some games. I understand they may have tried to do a little Harry Potter sorting into school type thing, but I either just missed it or they didn't show it. But I heard some talk about it. But they did some games. They talked about interracial dating, pronouns, and so some fun stuff, some serious stuff as well, but no game talk while that was going on. We did have some other game talk, though. We had Corey and Nicole are talking. I haven't mentioned Nicole so much but I feel like she's starting to ramp it up a little bit. She's done a good job of listening and picking up as much information, and now she's starting to get a little bit more involved. But we've got Corey and Nicole talking. Neither is feeling really comfortable with Cameron. Is anyone in that house feeling comfortable with Cameron? Can y'all pick up? I'm a little bit cynical today for whatever reason, but neither one of them's feeling very comfortable with Cameron. They're talking about the fact that when they talk to Hassam, it's a little strange talking to him also. So they've got that. As far as Cameron goes, Corey calls him a selfish player. They recognize that he's basically just abandoning ship. They know where it's at. That he's just abandoned everyone else. He's trying to go over the other side. It's just all about him. There's nothing wrong with that when you're playing the game of Big Brother. You probably should be a selfish player, but you maybe don't want to make it so obvious that you're a selfish player. And Corey and Nicole are certainly recognizing that, as are a lot of people in the house. They are wondering if Cameron is the one who is leaking information about Riley's alliance and everything. Yes, but Riley was certainly doing a good job of her own leaking information just by how much information she was giving out to anyone who asked. But they don't trust Cameron. They recognize that he is a bit of a flip-flopper. All right, neither one of them thinks that they are in a great spot right now in the game, which is probably true. They're not part of the main power structure, but sometimes that isn't the end of the world. Corey, at one point, I think Sari is worried, or someone, Jared, I think, reported back to Sari, said, look, Corey really feels like he may be good for the next couple of weeks, because he feels like these two sides are going to be going after each other, which means he's going to be left alone a little bit. And that I think that's probably true. So yeah, Corey and Nicole not feeling like they're in a great spot. But as Cool Hand Luke says, sometimes not having any kind of hand is still a pretty good hand. But they're not feeling great about their position, but that's leading them to kind of hint around, imply that maybe they could be working together and maybe pull some other people in as well and put something else together. So Corey and Nicole, Corey's gonna try to talk to Red and Bowie as well. Maybe see if some other people that maybe aren't the top of the power structures would be interested in not necessarily forming an alliance, but just keeping an eye out for each other and staying on friendly terms with each other and such. These alliances aren't going to last. At some point, just like in my season, at some point they're going to blow up. When that happens, if you've got some people to jump in and kind of take over the reins, all kinds of things can happen. So they're going to see what alternative plans may be able to be put in place. So we've got that. Now, we do have, let's see what else. We've got Corey talking about the fact that he's going to try to win HOH. He wants to win it. He wants to have a little control. He wants to protect his safety, etc. But he tells Nicole that he's also not going to be too upset if he does lose the HOH competition, because he really thinks that the Professor's Alliance is going to go after Riley, and he's okay with that as well. So again, it gets back to the fact that he thinks he's probably safe because the two sides will be going after each other anyway. All right, we've got Kirsten, and I haven't mentioned her only because I'm so certain that she's going home if they have the eviction ceremony. But Kirsten had a rough day. She's trying to campaign and just not getting a lot of traction out of it. She talked to Hassam, and he basically said, look, yeah, I'm not going to BS you. I'm not going to make promises or anything else. You need to find 8 votes supporting you. And once you get those 8 votes, then come back and talk to me. So it's kind of a gruff way to say it, but it's just a standard old, hey, as long as you can find the other supports, you've got my support, but you got to find them first. And the person who says that always knows that they don't actually have the support of the other 8. So it's an empty promise to be making. Well, Hassam has done that as well. They hug it out and everything, but he just didn't want to spend a lot of time talking about things that he knew wasn't going to take place. And unfortunately, a lot of other people did that as well. Kirsten certainly had her own crying sessions as well up in the Have Not room and elsewhere. Hers a little more understandable. Riley's the HOH. It's probably the easiest HOH in history as well, since she didn't actually have to nominate anyone. So it's a little tougher to feel sympathetic for her. Kirsten, yeah, I feel some sympathy. It's tough. She's Yeah, I feel a lot of sympathy for Kirsten. All right, we've got Cameron and Luke and Corey on the hammock talking together. Originally, it was Luke and Corey. Cameron showed up and just kind of took over the conversation, as he sometimes does. Cameron's talking about Riley's different groups, levels of alliances, and everything else. He's talking about what he did, about the fact that he's reset everything by spilling all the information on all these groups, and as a result, kind of broken everything up. And he said, as a result, that he thinks these groups will now more organically, I guess, divide, form into groups and all that. So I don't know. What's Cameron saying? That everyone just assembled off the first few minutes just because they're trying to protect each other, and that the groups weren't really full of synergy. I don't know, but he does understand that he's probably reset all the groups, and he thinks that's a better thing, and that they'll all reset, and I guess they'll form again, but maybe form in a way that he likes better than the first way they formed. That's probably where we're getting. So yeah, he's got that. He's still pretty proud of what he did. All right, we got Jag and Sari talking. Sari is saying that she likes him, and that no one has mentioned him or Riley's name. So again, Jag, Sari is kind of reconfirming what Jared had already told Riley. Now Sari is telling Jag the same thing. Saying, yeah, we love you, Jag. You don't have to worry. You and Riley, no, we're not throwing your names out. Why would we be going after you? She's Jag is saying at the same time, responding back, so, well, I haven't heard your name mentioned either, Sari. He's actually telling the truth. I haven't heard really people talking about going after Sari. They're going after Izzy. Why are they not going after Sari? Because she is a social game master, is why. All right. Big celebration last night. We needed a little celebrating. The have-nots are over. So the have-nots, midnight came along. They got to celebrate, enjoy all kinds of food and everything else. There's already talk about who's going to be the have-not next week. Sounds like several people are going to volunteer. Riley's saying she may volunteer. I'm not sure who else. Get it out of the way and move on. But have-nots are no more. So we've made it through 1 week of slop and cold showers and horrible bedding situations upstairs. All right, Sari and been a long night. Sari and Izzy in the bathroom, just kind of checking in with each other. Sari is saying that she's irritated because she recognizes that Cameron intentionally blew everything up. So she's not happy with that he kind of upset the apple cart. She's also not sure that she can work with Blue from the other side if things do blow up and such. So she's got those complaints. Izzy says she's just feeling kind of lost. Yeah, a lot of us are feeling kind of lost too, as well, Izzy. It's tough to keep up with so much happening and so many people playing this game right now. We do have eventually Kirsten walks in, and now remember, Kirsten and Sari kind of had it out with each other. Got a little upset with each other. Sari feeling like she wasn't getting proper respect. Respect your elders. Sari not really feeling like she was getting a lot of respect from Kirsten, so they kind of jawed at each other a little bit earlier yesterday. So Kirsten comes in, they make up a little bit. Sari says, look, I love you, there's nothing against you and all that. She says, but I can't not vote to keep Miss Felicia, or Mama Felicia. I'm not sure what she said, but I can't not vote to keep her, and you just need to know that. And it's not against you, it's just the way it's going to be. Kirsten understands. Sari tells her, says, look, you're a young, beautiful Black woman. You still need to go out with grace and style. You've got all my support. Even though you don't have my vote, you've got all my support. I want nothing but everything for the best for you. So they kind of made up, and I was glad to see that after the earlier stuff. So they've got that. Eventually, a lot of other people come into the bathroom as well, and lots of hugs for Kirsten. It's like they're giving her the goodbyes messages a couple of days earlier. She understands where it is. Maybe it makes it easier. Tomorrow, she's got tomorrow, or today, I guess now. She's got today, and then tomorrow's eviction. And now here's the thing. We act as though she's just gone. That netherworld's going to kick into play. We may see Kirsten come back in the house, and maybe that's another reason that Sari made up with her and did everything possible to amend everything, mend fences and things like that. Just on the off chance that we do get Kirsten back. Now, having said that, I think Cerie's just a nice person, is probably why she did as well. But you always got to be thinking, right? So yeah, Kirsten's getting sent out the door on Thursday, but doesn't mean that she may not be coming back in 3 or 4 weeks. So keep that in the back of your mind as well. But yeah, again, eventually a lot of people came in and gave Kirsten hugs and making her feel as well as they can. All right. We've got Corey talking about Kirsten crying so much. Corey isn't really sure. Sorry, guys, pulling up my notes here. Corey's not really sure why she's what led to her being such a target in the first place. I think Corey he was talking to Jared about it, saying, well, why was she such a target? That she's so upset now. Jared mentions that it really, a lot of it came down to Kirsten had been telling people in the very beginning of the game that Riley had started an all-guy alliance, and because of that, people turned on her. She was just playing a little too hard in the very beginning. She's not playing any harder than anyone else, a lot less hard than other people are. She just did it before other people did, and as soon as they found her as a target, that was it. So Jared's explaining that to Corey a little bit. All right, now let's talk about the scandal that's going to be all over social media today. I can't do an overnight feeds recap without mentioning to it. I wouldn't want to. We had a big scandal because late in the evening, what time? It seemed late in the evening. 3 o'clock over here, so I don't know, 1:30 or so, Big Brother time. I could be off a little bit, but big scandal. Luke, while talking with Corey, Hassam, and Jared, used a word that he has no business using. And I think y'all probably know what word that is, and I will just leave it at that. Why? He immediately apologized. He was having a long conversation. It was thrown out there. It wasn't intentional. I mean, you say what you say, but it came out very casually, almost too casually. But it was said. He immediately apologized. But again, it's too late after it was said. It's going to be a major talking point. Corey and Hassam appeared to be in a bit of shock when they heard it come out of his mouth. Luke later went in or talked to Jared. Jared's laying in the dog bed or whatever in the have-not room. Luke apologized to him for using the word. Jared didn't seem as upset about the others that heard him use the word as well. Luke is worried that Corey is going to tell everyone what was said. That may be the least of his worries. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of talking going on because of it. One, involving Luke. What happens because he said it? Two, I've already seen 1 or 2 posts, people maybe calling out Jared a little bit for not being more vocal or not being more upset about it. Remember last season there was a little bit of a scandal about Michael and Brittany, and when they reported some things that had been said, as opposed to saying it later as opposed to when it first happened, there could be some blowback on Corey and Hassam if they don't mention it. It's just unfortunate, completely unnecessary. It amazes me that it's even, why? I'll leave it at why. But no, it was it was not good. Not a good look for Luke whatsoever. And we'll see how this all turns out. But Lord knows you're going to be hearing a lot about it. All right, later, I don't want to finish off with that. So let me talk about just one more and then we'll shut it down. Later, during that conversation, Luke complained that Riley had sent Jag. He called her lapdog. Had sent Jag after him, and that Jag had lied to Luke's face. He's also upset that Matt turned on him. I think this all stems back from that previous conversation, previous information that Cameron had told Luke that if Riley had been forced to renominate someone, if the veto had been used, that she was planning to put Luke up instead as a result. Luke is very much anti-Riley, anti anyone who's working with Riley as well. So yeah, Luke's upset about that. Not a good night for Luke whatsoever. All right, finally, we have a lot of house guests on the hammock, staying up forever. But no real game talk. Finally, they broke it up. I don't know, 3:30, 3:45 or so, Big Brother time. All the lights are off in the house around 4 o'clock or so, Big Brother time, and they called it a night. So there you have it, guys. Still lots of blowback from the blow up of Chaos Cameron, revealing all these secrets to the rest of the house. We'll see how that works out. This HOH is going to be vital come Thursday. And then you got the scandal at the very end of the evening as well. We'll see how that all pans out. It's kind of it's kind of rough. You get Cameron saying some problematic things night before last, and it's just like Luke said, hey, you want to see something, Cameron? Here, hold my beer. Let me show you what I can do. Yeah, it's tough. We'll find out what all happens with it, guys. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll give you another update at that time. Until then, guys, y'all have a fantastic Wednesday. SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.